Hey everybody, it's me, it's Michael B. I opted to go live with no countdown, nothing tonight. I don't know how that's going to work because it's always a 30-second delay, so I'm afraid it's going to show 30 seconds of me just sitting here like a weirdo, waiting for the countdown to end or whatever it is, so let's see how it goes. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about Arcade1Up Pinball, and is there going to be a version 2? That's the question. Are there going to be any improvements, or is it just going to be more of the same with different games? Let's talk about it right after this. You know what's funny? I should have said, let's talk about it on Chill and Chat with Michael B. But I did the let's talk about it right after this, which is what I've been doing on my, what do you call them? My videos I've been doing lately. Just the talking head type videos. What's happening, Mad Dad's Gaming? Digipunk says I'm blurry. I'm so sorry I'm blurry. CT Jason, what's happening, brother? I gotta go back and watch some of your old Friday the 13th videos because I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan myself, so I want to check that stuff out. I was peeking out your channel last night, brother. Hey, Steve V, what's happening, brother? I knew I couldn't count on you. I know. I cut the countdown out tonight. Spill the beans. It's Jurassic Park, isn't it? It might be. You're also going to have to give me a second, guys. I'm going back and forth, waiting for some support from Best Buy, because I'm actually trying to buy a new camera so I can do this better for you. Hey, Console Kits, what's happening? Thank you so much for being my only fan for 9 months. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. Alan's Aegis Arcade. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hey, P-Dubs, thank you so much for the live stream raid. And once again, congratulations to P-Dubs Arcade Loft on hitting 10,000 subscribers. Also, congratulations to Console Kits for hitting 8,000 subscribers, soon to be at 10,000. And thank you to 19K Fox for soon to be on the cover of Tiger Beat magazine. Where is it? Just here, speculating. Well, that's what we do. Jeezy Stream. So I got to move this over here. So guys, the question is, what's going to happen with Arcade1Up Pinball in the future? I don't know if you guys watched Unqualified Critics. He made a video last week where he basically said, based on his conversations with the guy from Think Up, Jerry from Think Up, and where he was looking through some old Mel Kirk interviews, it sounded like Arcade1Up were going to be making a brand new model of their pinball machine, so a version 2. And the question was, if they are going to do a version 2 of their pinball machine, what exactly is that going to be? What's it going to look like? What features is it going to have compared to the older model? What are we going to be dealing with? The question is any of that true? I've said personally, I think that Arcade1Up Pinball sold really well for Arcade1Up. There's no impotence on them for them to really do anything else, to add anything else, other than maybe online features. So we'll see what happens. I want to know what you guys think. Oh, this is a really good one. Digipunk's got a great comment here. I predict Indiana Jones or Monster Bash. And Conti Dinda's got it right, version 1.1, because that's what we might actually get here. Not a version 2.0, but a version 1.1. Michael B is going to give away Tron Stick plastic shrapnel on the 25K feed. Backglass is a must. Mad Dads, you make a very good point there. But I think we won't get a backglass, like a dynamic backglass, unless there's a Pro model, which is an option too. And look, you guys are talking about 32 inches, make it bigger. Big D Retro, what's happening, brother? Same form factor, bigger 2K screen. Interesting. I apologize, guys. I'm still... so I will tell you really quickly. What happened is I'm in the process of getting a new camera from Best Buy. So I'm trying to price match a price I found on... price I found on Amazon. And they're just being really difficult. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I'm going to give up pretty soon and just cancel it and go with the shitty camera I have. Kim Kittens, can you bring 19K Fox on your channel, please? Yes, I will talk to 19K Fox and bring him on. David H says, put a fat CRT in one. That would be one. So let's go with the obvious answer first. Let's talk about a version 1.1 and what I think that'll look like, because this is the most realistic choice, I think. Oh, Console Kits, you had to bring up that comment. We talked about this last night. Pro model with one game for $11.99, but it's online with add-on games available, but also a legacy model, which is just at 1.1. Console Kits makes too much sense. So let's go with the 1.1. Arcade1Up released pinballs last year. They had 720p resolution. Everything else about the cabinet was really good. Came with 10 games, played pretty well, especially after the updates for some of the cabinets. They sold extremely well. In fact, Arcade1Up couldn't keep stock in place. Even after raising the prices, they still managed to sell their cabinets. So, if Arcade1Up is coming out with their next line of pinball, version 1.1 or Wave 2, there's a chance it's going to be the exact same thing again. It's going to be the same chipset. They're going to be running at 720p, same performance, same internals, but I think the one upgrade they will add is, in fact, they're going to add Wi-Fi. And what the Wi-Fi will allow us to do is compete against each other in online leaderboards. The question is it online leaderboards in the Arcade1Up landscape, like we're seeing now with Tron, where you can compete against other people, or will it be the online leaderboards that Zen Pinball has? Like, say, for example, you're a Steam player, you can go up against other Zen Pinball players. The other thing I'd really like to see them do is to be able to connect it where you can play pinball tournaments against people that have the same games. I don't know if that's possible, but that would be really cool. So if Arcade1Up just did that, kept the same price point they have right now, came out with new games, so the other 10 Star Wars games, the other 10 Marvel games, the other 10 Williams games, and maybe some of their own, and basically just give you a Wi-Fi update, would you be happy with that? Would you purchase that? One second, guys. All right, so we got some answers coming in. Let's take a look at it. Adam12 says 720p resolution, big no, period. WKRP in Cincinnati, then they are clueless. I know WKRP in Cincinnati bought the Attack from Mars table and then gutted it. Will it have spectacular mode? I don't know about that. Minimum needs, same form factor, 1080p output, online leaderboards. That's all I really want, to be honest. Twisted Chris. Hello, I'm new to YouTube. Hi, friend. Hi, Twisted Chris. You didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Twisted Chris is good people. Is the KI cabinet running Android or the true arcade ROM? It's running the real arcade ROM reworked to work on Arcade1Up's hardware, if I'm not mistaken. I'd buy an indie theme cab even if it were still 1.0 with no Wi-Fi. That's interesting, because I think a lot of it, why Arcade1Up was so successful in their last wave, despite obvious problems. Like, I've been very open about it. They built an excellent cabinet. The cabinet itself is a work of art. It feels good. It feels like a real pinball machine. However, the game itself, where it is 720p, is a little disappointing, and the no online's a little disappointing. If you took the guts of the AtGames cabinet and the ability to add on, put that in the Arcade1Up body, what they built there, and put a bigger screen in it, it might be the best thing they ever made. We'll see. But I think if they did come out, hold on, Kim Kittens, I can't bring 19K Fox on right now. I apologize. Conti Dinda says Indiana Jones seems unlikely. Yeah, that would be hard to pull off since Zen are only releasing it on their own systems in March. So, I mean, I don't know what else you would put on that cabinet because I think they're just bringing out the main game, the Pinball Adventure. I don't know if they're doing their own yet. I'm not 100% sure. But like an Indiana Jones themed cab, I think people would be very excited and people would buy that. Jason Cutler says Mystery Encoder will have IndyCab ready by release in March. There's another problem. If they do go with the exact same game, the exact same firmware, all that stuff, is there a possibility people are just going to be able to somehow get the games and add them to their existing cabinet through the Mystery Encoder? That's, if you do a SWOT analysis, that's what we call a threat. Who cares about big scoreboards and marquees? You play on the board, the scoreboards are just for show. They should make a line for casual players who aren't trying to show off the body and the machine. Jedi Grey Order, that's an interesting one to talk about, and some companies do that. Like, there's mini pinball machines that have that option where there's no back box or anything like that. And hell, you can do it, like, even from your PC. Like, I suppose that isn't what you want, but most people who want this want a pinball cabinet. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's an in-between there. Oh, cool. Indiana Jones. No, Nate UT, that's not what I mean. I don't mean is it in both engines. I don't think they're going to make their own games like Star Wars to go along with Indiana Jones. That's what I was trying to say. Not that it was only in one engine. Stardust says, I need some Jurassic Park in my arcade. That's going to be an interesting one too, because if they're just going with the new games, you've got those Universal games. So I always looked at it, Back to the Future, E.T., what else could they put with it? And the truth of the matter is Jurassic Park. But then what does the cabinet become? Does it become a Jurassic Park theme cab with Back to the Future, Monster Bash, and Creature from the Black Lagoon added to get to the 10 games? What are we working with here? I don't know. Me personally, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to be a negative guy here, but I think that's where Arcade1Up is going with the next wave of pinball. I think it's going to have the same form factor, which is good because the form factor was great, but it's going to have the same chipset, which means the same performance. The only difference is it's going to have online connectability for leaderboard support. I don't know about tournament play, but leaderboard support. That's my guess out early. But let's play the fun side of this here, and let's go blue sky. Let's see what else they can do. So the next option is they realized that what they released last time was good, people bought it, and it sold, but they can do better. So what they've got to look at is upgrading the resolution to 1080p, getting the games to play as well as they did after the updates with 1080p performance and everything looking like it should, like you play it on your PC. To do that, they would have to get a better chipset. Maybe a chipset like the Legends Pinball has, and then it's Paramount. Indiana Jones is not a Universal title, it's Paramount. I didn't say Indiana Jones was a Universal title. Jason M., this is an interesting comment. There's no way they follow up only Wi-Fi leaderboards and new skins. No way. I'm just saying, they sold, so they could, but Arcade1Up has always improved upon what they were doing with their next release. So then we get to the next part. They're going to come out with 1080p resolution. Might still be a 24-inch screen, but 1080p resolution. Could upgrade to a 32-inch screen. They would improve the solenoids, and they would improve the, what is it called? The solenoids for the bumping, because some of them faded out. My Attack from Mars and Marvel, you can barely feel them anymore down around the flippers. But, the accelerometer, so you get better nudging. That's an option too. And maybe they improve the back DMD because, we got that little narrow line across. Maybe they've got another option so that looks a little bit better. So that's a possibility. So it's a slightly upgraded, like 1.1 or 1.2. Papa Brad, yes, they were underwhelming at best for the majority, but they could have sold better. Ooh, I wouldn't go with Exciters. Exciters are terrible. Have you ever played an At Games Legends Pinball? Exciters are not great. You want solenoids if you're playing pinball. The Exciters just don't do the job. Maybe it's a difference of Exciters and good Exciters. I love my At Games Legends Pinball, but that is one of the detracting. Nate UT knows it too. At Games Exciters keep farting though. So that's the possibility. The possibility is they come out with 1080p resolution, possibly a bigger screen. They come out with an upgraded DMD on the back box, and we get the new games that we talked about in the last model. If they fix the DMD and they improve the graphics to 1080p and everything we just had in the last model with the Wi-Fi online leaderboards, would you be happy with that? I'm waiting for you guys. Solenoids over Exciters any day, 100%. I'm still waiting for At Games because there was some conversation that they were going to release their own solenoids for their pinball table that could be implemented in, and hopefully we'll get an update on that at National Owners Day. Sorry guys, just 1 second. Super duper unprofessional here, guys, but I'm trying to get this camera bot so I do a better job for you guys here. Goofyfoot, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. They will go with 1080 pool with a stool and a mat. Hey, Mike, does the KI Pro Series come with Pro Stool or is it just a chair? Goofyfoot, that's a good question. I don't know. That's the argument, because if you put a back on a stool, is it still a stool? I've seen stools sold in stores with backs all the time, so I would say yes, it's still a stool. Thank you again for the super chat. All right. It will have online play. Zen is pushing their Battle Royale mode heavily. I'm not familiar with that, the Battle Royale mode. I would like to see it so it interacts with everybody else's Zen pinball experience. So if they do online play, my scores should not only matter against other Arcade1Up players, but everybody else playing as well. I want to know I want it to connect to the global leaderboards. And also, if the Wi-Fi does connect to tournaments, I want to be able to play in like MCAPS tournaments from my Arcade1Up Pinball. That's what I'd like. This is blue sky here, guys, for version 1.2. $1080p, bigger screen, and downloadable table is what will be my dream. He said doo-doo. I'm not going to get any help here, guys, on my thing. It's just not going to happen. Booga Sauce, Michael B doing his best RGT imitation. I wish, man. I wish I was half as good as Sean. You can buy a sturdy Jegs stool on Amazon for about $50. Yeah, everybody, I've got a stool there I bought from, I'm in Canada, so it's from a place called Princess Auto that I bought for like $40, which is my upstairs arcade stool. I think it's okay. So, most people still not really satisfied with the upgrade to 1080p and the online leaderboards. So let's go a step above. Here's another possibility what I think they're going to do with the Arcade1Up Pinball version 2.0 if they're going to do upgrades. So I think we're going to get a 32-inch screen. It's going to have a little bit of a bigger body. It's going to have maybe a dynamic back glass with the DMD built into it. But here's the catch. and you can pick the art that you want, or it's just going to have a baseline art. Then the games are going to be open for purchase. So the thing about this is, I think this is going to be a really well done unit, which means it's going to be pricier. So everything you can want, bigger screen, better performance, all that stuff. But then it's going to be more like the Infinity Game Table, except they're going to have an online store through Zen where you can add whatever tables you want. So it's not going to be, I think, what's it in US right now? $7.99 for the pinball table. It's $8.49 here in Canada, as long as they still have old stock. The new tables are $9.99, so I don't know how much it would be here in Canada. But in the US, it's going to be as much as probably between $1,200 and $1,500, maybe $1,000, with an Infinity Game Table model where they know they're only going to sell you one, and everything else they're going to have to get. So they're stepping outside their business model. Everything else they're going to have to get through sales through the online store. You can buy additional games to help. You get the same quality that you got with the build of the table and the way it performed, but the graphics are now 1080p. You got full use of online leaderboards, all the functionality the Zen Pinball has if you're playing on Steam or through your own PC build, and you can add your games, but it's going to cost that much. Is that what you would like to see? And if you would, are you willing to pay more of a premium price to get it? Because Arcade1Up's business models, you got to remember, they'll sell you one with a limited number of games because they're hoping to sell you more down the leaderboard. Bonafide Picker says, I'll pay for that. Bring it one up. That thought, Michael B. Anybody else? Anybody else like that idea? You're going to pay more up front for a bigger cabinet with a better screen, better performance, better everything you could hope for. And then you will be able to add your own games, but you're going to pay a more premium price up front. Welcome to Fantasy Island. But the trade-off for Fantasy Island is this, the price point. It's going to be a price point. No Name says Pro Series with 4K. We're going to get there. Not paying more than $700, $750 for a V-pin. Is that Pro Pin capped at how many games it can hold, do you think? Thank you so much for the Super Chat, Crumb. I don't know. Because I'm not really at a Pro Pin yet. I'm at an Infinity Game Table pin. We haven't reached the Pro Pin yet, because I don't think this is the Pro Pin. This is another business model. Price increase is worth it if the gameplay doesn't suck. JJ says, Arcade1Up 1080p, 28 to 24 screen, ability to connect to PC or DLC available, then I'd be happy to pay for a V-Pin Pro. Well, what's the difference between a toque and a beanie? Depends on where you're living, apparently. In Canada, we call them toques. Already have a 32-inch IGT. Don't want to pay that again for another table I probably won't use. I don't know what an IGT is, Paul. I'll pay $1,500 if it has all the bells and ringers. Well, this is just an option for Arcade1Up. I don't think they'll do this, but this is kind of what everybody's been asking for. Everybody, stop a toque, Michael B. about his hat. Thank you, Jay Reed. I don't know what they're going to do. Everybody's been asking for the ability to add games to their pinball cabinet, and I just can't see Arcade1Up doing it, because Arcade1Up always, does the limited number of games, then another cabinet so you can buy more. What benefit is it to Arcade1Up to do a one and done table where you buy it once and then you never need to buy another product from them again? They don't sell games, they sell products. So I don't get it unless it becomes, Infinity Game Table. I get it now, Paul Minderman. I don't get it unless they take more of that infinity game table model where they're going to sell you a very high priced item and then work something out with Zen where they can add other things in. It's super complicated, guys. Like, you can let me know. I think Arcade1Up are in the model of doing small upgrades to the existing product, more so than doing this major one like an infinity game table, but I could be wrong. Jamie Logan, I'll pay $2,500 if it comes with a stool, tin sign, and a light-up deck. Just 1 second, guys. Oh, son of a... I will tell you, Best Buy Canada are the absolute worst. I've spent almost 2 hours now. I was hoping to be done with this before I did it. Trying to get a price match on a camera. The way Best Buy Canada works is if there's something online you want and there's a price match available somewhere else, you buy it and then contact support and say, hey guys, I'd like to get a price match on this item. And then they just got to go in and verify it. So I did that. But the problem was I bought the very last camera they had in stock. So then when I went to get in the price match, they said, sorry, we can't do a price match on that because that's an out of stock item. I was like, well, it's not out of stock. I just bought the last one. And then the woman said, sorry, it's our policy where it's out of stock. We can't do a price match for you. And I said, okay, well, can I talk to a supervisor? And then she went an hour without letting me talk to a supervisor, then put another agent on the phone who just gave me the same answer and hung up on me and offered me a $30 coupon next time I reached out to Best Buy because of my troubles. So Best Buy is the absolute worst. And unfortunately, I've waited too long and now can't hit cancel order. So I'm going to have to wait till the stupid camera is delivered and then return it. So I apologize. I'm done with that. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Not checking my eBay bid. About to throw my cup of coffee through the computer at the Best Buy experience I just had. Not nice. $30 coupon, not nice, County. Don't want their $30 coupon at all. So I'm going to go to the last model I want to talk about. The last model I want to talk about, which is a Pro Pinball. So Arcade1Up continues with the pinball line we've seen, which we'll call Vanilla Pinball, with the only upgrade, like I said earlier, possibly being the online connectivity and maybe Arcade1Up's own online leaderboards. But they just announced Pro Series arcade cabinets. What's to stop them from doing the exact same thing with their pinball line? And what the big difference here would be is this will definitely be a bigger screen, 32 to 40. It'll have all the same bells and whistles except more solenoids to create even more of a realistic pinball experience. It'll have upgraded speakers, an upgraded LED, what do they call it? DMD. It will also have light up buttons on the front for the coin doors. And the thing that everybody wants for the back is instead of having just a panel going across that's lit up, it's going to have a dynamic back glass in the back of the box that'll also change when you change the games. And it's probably going to be around that point that we just talked about of the $1,200 to $1,500 US. So that Pro one, maybe that'll, I don't know if that will have the buy every game option. I think this is going to go back to this will have 10 games loaded on, but it will be more of a big V-Pin experience. What do you guys think of that? Is that something you would like to see Arcade1Up do eventually? Sounds good. Done. I'll take one. Ryan Martinez, way too high. Oh, I missed Goofyfoot's comment there. I got to go back up. Well, I'll come down here. Shut up and take my money. Dynamic backglass for a pro model would be cool. I think it would too. Like, the minute I saw people doing upgrades, I think Cool Toy was the first person I saw do it. I saw a lot of other people do it now as well. They put the B-Kong did it as well. They put that screen in the back. They take out that piece. I can't remember the exact screen, but it fit perfectly. And then being able to change that backglass from game to game is just so important. So if they did a pro version, they would absolutely have to do that. Art Davidson, yes, but I say at that price, 20 games would be better. Yeah, I would be totally cool with that. So at that, I don't know if they'll do it because we saw the pro model Killer Instinct. I mean, Killer Instinct had the exact same game lineup. But yes, if you buy the Williams Pro Arcade1Up Pinball, you get all the Williams games. How about that? Thank you so much, Zero Exposure Videography. I really appreciate it. I have a wall bump out and the V-pins fit perfectly. Not sure I want bigger and block the walkway. Yeah, and this is the thing. It's the same thing, Bob, that Arcade1Up is thinking with the Pro line. Not everybody's going to want a Pro line cab because they like the smaller form factor. So that's kind of tough. Maybe there's also... Yeah, that was a big fail on their part. Of the criticism that I could give Arcade1Up on their original line of pinball cabinets, the fact that a nudge button wasn't included because of the inclusion of the accelerometer, that was a fail because not everybody can get that accelerometer to work. It's cool that they added features afterwards so you can fine-tune it, but kids, other people really miss out, and I know you're going to be on two minds there because real pinball players are going to say, well, you don't have nudge buttons on a real table. Do you want the real experience or not? But then V-pin players are like, well, no, nudge buttons come on every V-pin table. And I don't know what the right answer is there. Upgraded hardware and all Williams games is tempting, but still not worth $1,000 in my opinion. Needs to be able to add tables. That's what will make or break them. And Goofy Foot, that is such an interesting comment because, yes, that is what will make or break them because it goes against their business model. Arcade1Up's business model is they don't sell games. They sell the units the games come in. And in order for them to be successful, they have to continually sell more and more of these. You look at iArcade and you look at AtGames. Like AtGames, you buy your Legends Ultimate, what's left? I mean, unless ArcadeNet becomes kind of a smashing success or they open a game store, you've already bought your Legends Ultimate. Unless they come out with a better Legends Ultimate, which you would turf this one for something else, what else do you buy? So if Arcade1Up opens up the floodgates and gives you access to add more games to your table, how are they going to get you to buy another pinball table? This is the tough one, man. So I understand what you're saying. It's make or break, but it's also make or break for Arcade1Up. Do they change their business model? And if so, how did they do it and still be successful? That's fair. Jamie. Yes, 1UP will probably own the market if they add the ability for people to buy games. But what's the market worth if they can't sell any more pinball tables afterwards? Ritual Dello, I've already said they need a native Zen app, but they won't do it. Again, that's the same conversation we're having. Scott Bomer says, Arcade1Up and Zen have said all along they'll be able to look at tables in the future. So if that's the case, they have to go back and do the idea, like I said, come up with a new pinball table that they know they're only going to sell one and figure out how to make it the infinity game table. There we go. Arcade1Up Console Kits is coming in with some knowledge here. I didn't read this yet, so I don't know if it's knowledge. We'll see. Arcade1Up doesn't sell games, but Zen does. I think because it's a partnership, they might do it. 1UP will get 30% of each game sold on the new PIN platform. It's a possibility. Potato chips, I understand what you're saying, but they're not Arcade1Up's games to sell. So, like Console Kits just said, they would have to work out some kind of agreement with Zen in a way this would be profitable. Being able to add more tables means the tables will be sold. Most of us, not Michael B., will only get one pinball machine. But guys, what you're forgetting here is they sold their pinball tables the way they were. Literally, they don't have to do anything. They can just release more pinball tables and they will still sell. So why would they do this? Other than we think it's a really good idea. You sell it to me. I'm not trying to be difficult here. I'm telling you, they sold their pinball tables. As much as a lot of people have venom towards them because they weren't what they wanted, they still sold. So how do you tell a company your product was successful, but it could be more successful and you will sell less units if you do this? How do you make that work? Justin always knows more than he lets on. Yeah, he's tricky like that. He's very sneaky, Crumb. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. He's very, very sneaky. Jake Romero says a really good point there. I'm intrigued to see what they do. Obviously, there are improvements, but will they compromise with their business model? Old Blue Eyes say if they want to charge more for a pro version, they have to give us more. I don't disagree. I don't disagree on this. If they're going to charge more, how are they going to do it? Sell different themed cabinets and take a cut of the software sales. Win-win for them. But it all depends. It all depends on how that would work. Like, their profit margin always comes from selling the machines themselves. Jason has a really good point here. Business interests don't meet customers' interests, unfortunately. Sulper says an expandable table will sell more units than 3 version 1s combined. Interesting. For Act Games, it makes sense. They want to make one cabinet, then make royalties on the games. Different business model. 100% it's a different business model. But, like, let's go to the Legends Ultimate for a second. What's the business model on that? What do you do with that now? How do you make more money from your Legends Ultimate that's already in people's homes? There's not really a way to do it unless you can charge people for Arcade1Up and you can charge people for their cloud streaming service, which I don't know how well that's going. With the pinball table, at least they have the pinball game packs. They bought Zachariah, and they came out with their own. But unless they get more, and this could have been a topic on itself, unless Act Games goes out, gets some kind of Stern partnership, or buys some other licenses and works with Magic Pixel to make more games, what else are they going to sell you? I get it. Zen is a little bit more. Zen has a larger catalog right now, but I don't know how it's going to work. And then also, we're used to buying not one game. We're used to buying pinball packs. Would that convert the same way? Like, if Arcade1Up did give up their business model and they went in that direction, they were going to sell pinball games and add expandable content to the machine, would they sell them as individual games or would they sell them in pinball packs, and what would people want? Season passes. Papa Brad, you expand the machine. Yeah, the only way for the ALU is selling games online for download, which requires a different license than what they currently have with most of their games. Stern Iron Maiden Arcade1Up. Now I might pay $1,500 for that. And see, this is where it gets interesting, because right now I feel there's a race in the pinball community, the virtual pinball community, that Zen is working with people. Reached out to Spooky. They had Spooky on the show. And it's not just because they like Spooky Pinball and what they're doing and they want to, pay homage to pinball, but there's a benefit to working with these companies to make digital versions of their tables. Maybe eventually Zen comes out with that spooky Halloween table. How cool would that be? So really, at games, and you have Magic Pixel, you have Farsight, and I don't know if Farsight are really doing anything right now. I don't think Farsight have made a pinball game in a very long time. So you have At Games and Magic Pixel, and then you have Zen that are out there maybe racing for all the rights to pick up the studios and the real pinball tables and work with them going forward. And maybe that's the next wave of virtual video pinball we'll see. There'll be a race between Zen and then in the partnership Arcade1Up releasing digital pinball that way. And maybe there is a model where they have an infinity game table and you can add more games to it. And then on the other side, you have At Games and Magic Pixel going out and trying to get their own licenses. It'll be interesting. And maybe we'll just get new stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here, guys. I'm asking you. I find it very hard to believe Arcade1Up would just give up everything they've done normally and be like, yeah, guys, here it is, regular price, buy it, and we're just done. I'm not that familiar with Rick and Morty. I have heard this is a really good table people like. Game sales is still a profitable business line. Arcade1Up has good IPs and could make a nice nut on top of their other business models. Yeah, maybe. I don't know how it would work, though. BA, bottom line, give me something great or I'll spend my money on something else. Stranger Things table would be epic. Are you talking about the one that was done like Doug bot, Cool Toy bot? Or are you talking about the one that was done by the guy who made like Pizza Time and Leprechaun King? At Games will keep releasing new games, more margins in it for them. Yeah, it's possible. They'll go out and get licenses and do more collaborations with Magic Pixel. They have to be better than what they did with the Taito games. That's truth. I don't know about that, Zohar. You're talking about a massive financial decision in their business model compared to a feature they accidentally left out. That I agree, features should be uniform. So, but I don't think it's as simple as that. This is a business model versus a missed feature. Yeah, Cool Toys. That Stranger Things table. That's a Pro Stern. Yeah, that would be incredible. I would love for one of these companies to get Stern on board. There's so many Stern tables. And if I'm not mistaken, Stern took ownership of so many other tables over the years. Like, I think Stern owns the rights to all the old Data East tables. And, I mean, there's just so much history there. Papa Brad, Arcade1Up needs to be a better table better than the Legends Pinball and have a Zen store to buy the entire Zen library if you want. That's what we all want. That's what we in this community want them to do. No one's denying that. But will they? And why? If there are other pinballs that didn't have that feature already sold. People are saying, well, they'll sell more tables that way. To who? That's kind of what I'm asking here. I'm not disagreeing with you. That's what they could do. It's a clear road. But is that the most profitable road? What the hell, really? Okay, they accidentally left it out? I don't think they intentionally left it out so far. I don't think they paid Code Mystics to do it. Thank you so much for the super chat, Michael Highland. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Nate, you make a really good point. Stern is the Nintendo of the pinball world. They were burned before by licensing their tables to somebody else with Farsight. And that relationship did not go well. Like, you can still buy the Stern pinball packs, but, I think that relationship is over, and it'll be much like what they did with the Williams tables, where they just disappear eventually. Those people who own them can still play them, but nobody else does. after they have exhausted the remaining current lineup of Star Wars, Marvel, after the next round of tables, after they keeps creating those properties and sell the games they rolled out like Mandalorian. That's an interesting comment, Chris. I will throw out there, I haven't mentioned this, I will throw out there another option which I haven't discussed yet. Maybe, because we all know that there's not really much left in Zen's cupboard other than them making new games after this. So say, for example, that we just get more of the exact same we just got, only with online leaderboards. So we get the other 10 Marvel, we get the other 10 Star Wars, we get the other 10 Williams, and then they do a universal pinball table that has the Jurassic Park games, plus Back to the Future, E.T., Jaws, and Monster Bash, and Creature in the Black Lagoon. Say they go that direction. After that, unless Zen comes out with a ton more games, because they can do Zen originals, but I don't think they would sell that well, there's nothing left. So maybe they're going to come out with the other half of what they released last time. Then after that, we're going to get what we want, because they've already exhausted the lineup. We've bought everything we could possibly buy. So then's the time to hit us with the table we want, where you can add your own games. Maybe in that direction, after they've already exhausted the partnership. Maybe we just need to wait it out. What do you think the chances are of that? Maybe we are going to get what everybody here wants with the next line of Arcade1Up releases, but not the very next line. It'll be after that. And that's a really good comment too, Michael Hyland. That's a possibility as well. Adam 12. I own the Zen catalog 3 times now on 3 platforms. I would buy them all again on a new table. I don't own them that many. I have them on Steam, and I have them on my Nintendo Switch, and then I have the Arcade1Up tables. So Nate UT says Zen has stated they are significantly increasing their ability to generate both licensed and original tables. That would be interesting. Jeff Wilterson says that's when they'll move into their legacy line and just reskin old stuff. But if I pick her, I don't want to wait. And like, I'm not fighting for them not to do it, guys. Don't take it that way. I'm just... Yeah, I forgot about that. What about the Zen Fox lineup? Family Guy, Aliens, American Dad. See, I forgot about that, but that one's a really tough one because you can't just do Fox. There's too many different irons in the fire there. I think Universal will be easier, but how do you do a Fox table? Goofy Foot, I agree with you. Like, I'm in the process right now of trying to sell some of my Arcade1Up pinballs, and I'm selling Marvel and Star Wars, and I'm keeping my Attack from Mars because that's what I enjoy playing the most down in my Arcade1Up arcade. Oh, Zohar, I got good news for you then, my man, because Code Mystics are not doing the emulation for Killer Instinct. I believe it's Toto. It was listed as ThinkUp, which means they're probably using one of the other companies they're using that don't require that kind of namesake. So if Toto are doing it, which is the same company that did Big Blue and also did Marvel vs. Capcom, then I think you're going to be in luck and you should get the same system. It's the fact that this was Code Mystics, and for all those people that, I don't know, they're being so difficult about this, saying, oh, well, you know, X-Men wasn't Code Mystics. Code Mystics did do the online play for X-Men. And if I'm not mistaken, Code Mystics had their hand in The Simpsons and probably Turtles too. So all these games that you're talking about without spectator modes, I know Code Mystics was involved with Simpsons, and I know Code Mystics was involved with X-Men. 1,000%. So if it is Toto, I think you're going to be in good shape, console fanboy. And you know what? I do get the impression the company does listen. Provide, you know, Zohar, you of anybody to do, and remember it's to do. And Zohar, you of anybody are friends with John D. You can contact him directly and talk to him. And if it's something that's important, talk to him and see what you can do. You and Rev both have an ear to the man. Talk to him, guys. Just be positive. Positivity always wins. Well, you know, guys, I don't know which way they're going to go. I'm leaning towards my first option. I think we're just going to get more of what we got last year with the online leaderboards. I do hope that there's major improvements, that we're going to get 1080p resolution, that we're going to get an active backglass display back there to change the games that we're going on. I would love to see a bigger screen. I don't know what's going on here, Ray Rockwood, but this is freaking me out. Like, am I in the Matrix? Why are all these coming up on my screen? Is this the phone number for Arcade1Up? I'm so confused. I know you don't want to bother John D, but I don't know what the right way to do it is. I know, Jeff, but yeah, Oculus Quest 2 is great. It is great. It depends on what you want to play, though, and what the experience is. Hopefully you like it. I like it, but I have a weird version that... weird issue with my Oculus Quest 2 where I signed in through my Facebook through an old email I don't have, and I can't access my online store. So I just got to take time to go out there and figure out what is happening. I'm 100% sure I'm in the Matrix, Conti. This is it. Someone's going to come in and give me a pill here in a minute and pull out my thing. Maybe, I don't know what Ray is saying. Jordan, I don't like the Simpsons control for Homer. Nobody does. Stardust, I don't work for Arcade1Up. I wish I had more information than that. What I do have is that John D, the picture that's in the thumbnail, John D shared that. It's clearly the exact same machine with the same body we already got before with a new license in there. So what I will tell you is, if they're going with the prototype that he had there, it's going to be the same cabinet. The only thing that we know is that it's probably going to be Hulk as the back glass, because that's what it looks to be behind the blur, and that's the Marvel cabinet, and it's probably going to have the other half of the Marvel games. The question is, will they improve the performance? Will they put a better chip in there so we can get up to 1080p? Will they include online? That's what we know of. Any idea of a pro cabinet or this infinity gaming table, that concept that we're talking about, is just purely speculation, and maybe throwing some stuff out there to give Arcade1Up ideas on what they could do to better serve the Arcade1Up pinball community. Does that make sense? Furious George, why does everybody drool over Wi-Fi? Never had Wi-Fi in the arcades. You sure didn't. But here's the thing. A lot of us don't have arcades or even access to arcades. And what Wi-Fi allows us to do, specifically in terms of multiplayer games, like the fighting games we're talking about here now, is you get that experience of being able to play somebody else. You don't have to try to bring somebody over to play on the cabinet. You can just go out there and fight randoms in one of the fighting games. The online Wi-Fi allows us to test our scores out there against anybody else that has the cabinet and find out who's the top Arcade1Up owner for scores in those games. It gives a lot of the aspects of the original real arcade, but in a different format for the home people. So it makes it feel more like the feeling of the original arcade. We'll see. Tempered glass and Wi-Fi are all we need. 100%. I agree with that. Jesus Christ, I hate the plexiglass on my Attack from Mars cabinet. I hate the striations in it. So if there's one upgrade, I don't know how expensive it will be for you to do. 100% put tempered glass on your next line of pinball cabinets. Dear God. And Wi-Fi is an absolute must for updates, so we don't have the disaster that happened last time you put out updates, where people could just take them off your website and then put 30 games on their cabinet. But not just the updates, but we can do online leaderboards and maybe even play in tournaments. That would be the biggest thing on why what we would need if you're only going to do minor upgrades. And thank you very much, Console Kids. I appreciate that. See, Bonafide Picker understands. Yeah, I thought I would hate the Wi-Fi, and then I played my brother on Big Blue. That's the other thing I like about it, because we get a chance that sometimes I'll just hear from somebody in the community. See, Papa Breads, this is an interesting comment. A very interesting comment, because there's opinion and then there's fact. So I will speculate AtGames has a massive head start in the home VPIM war. If Arcade1Up wants to be in the game, they must bring some heat and use Zen more with the ability to buy tables. And here is how I will counter that. I think that I 100% agree with you in terms of quality and reputation and public perception. I 100% agree with you. AtGames has a massive head start. But if you look at the number of units sold and money made, I would argue Arcade1Up probably has sold more units. I can't confirm it, but I've just got a feeling. So we'll see. I don't know if AtGames would be comfortable enough providing me with the number of AtGames pinball tables they sold, or Arcade1Up was. But I think if you put the two numbers next to each other, I guarantee you Arcade1Up has sold more pinball units than AtGames. So who's really ahead in that aspect? Who made more money? So it's a different one. Yeah, that's what I think. Arcade1Up is head on mode. And let's finish it with the most important thing. Where the hell is Pinball Spectator mode? AtGames is selling table packs. Papa Bread's Gaming, talk to Console Kits, factor in table packs. I will factor in a $10 table pack compared to an $800 machine. You got it, buddy. Anyways, guys, I want to go back to Conti's comment. Oh, wait a minute, I got a super chat. I apologize. After trying to buy a real new Stern pin, right now 1UP seems like a short wait. If I don't get mine, I have to wait a year. Jeff, wait with me. Let's get the real table. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Yeah, Papa Bread, there's nothing wrong with that. And I hope AtGames is super successful with that. I'm just saying there's perception and then there's reality. So let's see. Going back to Conti's comment, and thank you again, Jeff Walsh, for the super chat. Let's finish it off with the most important thing. Arcade1Up, if you do one thing, please add spectator mode to your pinball tables. I don't know if you can actually do that. I've never seen that in a Zen table. But whatever happens, I just hope the pinball tables are good. If you want my honest opinion on it, I hope that Arcade1Up, when they release these next tables, I don't know if they're going to add in the ability to add more tables to it that you can buy from an online store. I think that would be super cool. Most importantly for me, I want online leaderboards. I want the ability to play in tournaments. I would love an active backglass, but I'm dreaming on getting a new LCD. Most importantly, I want a new, more powerful chipset so the tables don't look bad like they did the first time. Like, they're still playable. They're super playable. That table was so goddamn good. You did such a good job. But the fact that you had to play in 720p and there were some issues with it sucked. So what I would like to see more than anything else, put a more powerful chip in there, get the graphics up to 1080p. Let's do it, Arcade1Up. If you can do one thing, that's what I'm asking for you to do more than anything else. Just catch up with the chat here before I leave. 8500, do it. Ooh, 19K Fox, so mean. Where is he? John D just tweeted, Couch Cable ship with spectate mode. Oh, anyways, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me tonight. We speculated as much as we can on what was going to happen with Arcade1Up and their pinball going forward. Is there going to be a version 2.0? Is it just going to be more of the same with a couple minor upgrades? Or are they going to go in a completely different direction with a different business model, all the way to maybe a pro line later on down the line? All of these things are possible. More than likely, it's the first. I hope you have a great night, everybody. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time.